Time passed as it pleased, and Dogwood House soon found its rhythm again. Celeste's care was taken in turns as she was lovingly given from one pair of hands to another. She was not the only new addition to Dogwood House, as Mary suddenly left poor Minnie in a ghastly state to the Ratliffs. That ghastly state produced two gorgeous pups, who were undeniably Pips. They called them Pippi and Mim to honor their parents. The most surprising addition was the professor and his patroness. The senior Ratliffs took on the cottage house and made it their own with wholehearted intentions to stay. It wasn't just that they didn't quite trust the abilities of two newly married 19-year-olds to raise a child, but that they liked it. It was the first time in decades that both Joey and Corinne could slow and retire. Despite their very young years, the two had been city slickers, so long they had forgotten the serenity of the wilds. The days became bright and sharp, the mornings frosty cold, and all was much calmer after that second letter from Addie. She had addressed it to Celeste this time, as all the following would be. Addie had left the Nordhaven Conservatory of Music and had begun touring with a troupe of sorts. The laughter in her letter was evident as she said, "My first concert was in a snow-covered hall with 3 whole listeners, and yet I felt as noted as Mozart, for they had trekked the snow. For me?" With that, the evenings were grand once more. Addie wasn't lost to them, and music could return where once it felt doomed or taboo. Robin wasn't anything like Addie, but he could chop a jaunty tune together. Anything to hear his dear Anna's sweet, clear voice. Celeste was not cursed to have one parent, for David visited on Saturday evenings after long weeks rebuilding and redeeming the unthinkable. It became what he was known for. However, he was not known for staying long. Friday was the best anyway, because that was the day Aura and Oscar came for afternoon lunches. They brought Rose with them, who made good company for Celeste. That is, when she wasn't crawling off to cause a little mayhem. The worst was when the Tollivers came. To mitigate scandal, David had boasted about his wife's departure as if it was planned. And suddenly came the Tolliver brood. Rightfully, they wanted Celeste. She belonged to them as much as the Ratliffs, but even a lifelong friendship like Sawyer and Joey's could sour over something so precious. In the end, it was the women who hashed it out. Celeste would spend 1 week a month and every other summer at varying Tolliver homes, save for David, who lived in whatever shack he happened to be improving. As for Anna, it was Rosamond who let her know she was pregnant. Her great-great-grandmother, who her mother said was a native princess and so knew secret things before becoming a civilized French trapper's wife, always said a heifer shall always spoil the milk of the dam. Unfortunately, Anna didn't know of any sayings to account for her rotten luck. Celeste had accident upon accident on Anna, not to mention the issue with the stove one day. She hadn't told anyone but Robin, and just like a little fool, she thought that loose clothes would hide her state. It was embarrassing to think everyone knew she had. Well, with Robin, it was Mrs. Ratliff who said one day,
"Who do you think we're knitting for? Baby will need something to wear."
It took Anna 2 whole weeks to get over the mortification. She didn't think she could live with everyone knowing like that.
"What's it like, sister? You must tell me. I'm not unladylike saying so, because you asked. Oh, but it's wonderful. Not at first, but at second and third and fourth. Anna, that's wicked of you to say. Oh, sorry."
The air had gone from bright and cool to bitter cold. The crops had her day and the season for rest was upon the world. The baby truly was coming. Robin teased that it should be named Waterloo after the fire incident, and Anna teased it should be named Big Baby after its father. The house was deep in preparation. Secretly, Joey and Corian worried about such young people and a baby, but Anna and Robin had really proved their sense of care with Celeste, and well, they couldn't react as badly to the change as Addie had. Robin made a room for the children. Anna had had a serene pregnancy, and at least she would be 20 by the time the baby came. Very nearly 20.